Let's start in goal.
Right, Big Dave has to be, really. Big Dave Seaman. I get asked who my favourites that I played with, and obviously I played with him for England, and it was out of him and Schmeichel who would be the best that I played with. I went for Schmeichel, so the one I played against, even though I played against them both, just a great keeper and made things look so easy. You know, you could hit shots in the top corner and you think, that's a goal, and he'd just go across. It's the art of a good goalkeeper for me. If you make tough saves look easy, the next time you shoot, you think to yourself, blimey, I've got to put it really in the top corner this time, because the others he saves quite easily. So, top keeper.
When you played with him, would he be as angry at you putting a good goal past him as someone like Schmeichel?
Only if you chipped him in training.
Only if you chipped him.
Same as all goalkeepers, he's always got the own. Yeah, booted it as far as he could.
Right back,
quite a long way. Picked him in my team as well, Dennis Irwin. What a class act, on and off the pitch. Top player, right back, left back. Could get forward, could defend, and never saw him have a bad game. Always 8.5 out of 10 every week, every game that I played him. So even though I played with him, I played against him a lot as well, and just a fantastic player, top player.
Yeah, right. First centre-half?
First centre-half, Fabio Cannavaro. Played against him a few times for Italy. Not the biggest, not the quickest, not the strongest, but what a football brain. So clever, positional sense, organising defence. Just that's exactly what I like as a centre-half for me. Top player, and for Italy as well was a top player.
Did you prefer playing a centre-back against a centre-back who was sort of a big lump, who might try and kick you, but wouldn't be as smart?
Yes, yeah, the clumsier centre-half that wouldn't be, wouldn't understand the movements that I would be doing to dragging him here to be able to get him behind, or dragging him away to get in front. You know, Cannavaro would be on a level that I would have to really think to outdo him.
Who's alongside him?
My old mate who I used to play with at Nottingham Forest.
Super
Desi Walker. We grew up playing against each other on a Sunday. He used to be a left winger, can you believe it?
Did he?
When he was a kid, playing for Enfield Rangers. And then all of a sudden, we lost track of each other, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing this centre-half playing for Nottingham Forest. He got on the scene at 16, 17, got in the first team, and I'm thinking from Millwall, I'm sure I used to play against him, and he was a left winger when he was a kid. Then when I had the chance to go and play for Nottingham Forest, this guy showed me how good he was week in, week out. I mean, I would have one good game, maybe a 8.5, 9 out of 10, then probably have two bad ones at still a young age, 5.5, 6 out of 10. This guy, week in, week out, was a 9 out of 10. I don't ever recall ever seeing him have a bad game. Just a class act, and no one ever beat him,
I thought he was one of the best centre-halves in the world at his time.
Yeah, he was, without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely. And he went to Italy, so you've got to be good.
Yeah, top player as well, top lad.
Top lad.
Yeah.
Left back, mate?
Roberto Carlos.
Reasonable choice.
Yeah, epitomised the way Brazil played at the time that he was in the team. Had two centre-halves, two solid midfield players, and they used to let the full-backs go on and always shooting, always crossing, always, he would nick the ball off the right winger and he'd be gone and he'd be up the other end. Pretty much the way the Tottenham full-backs play at the moment, that with that energy, he was ahead of his time and class act.
What formation are you playing?
I'm playing a 4-2-3-1,
okay.
And because of that, you'll see the two players that I'm going to put in midfield. First one, Roy Keane. Obviously played with him for 4-5 years in my career, but played against him a lot. He was the difference for me for being a good team and an exceptional team. If he wasn't playing in the Manchester United team with all those fantastic players that we had, the team wouldn't be the same if he was out of it.
Or both?
Everything. He was the leader on the pitch. He was the manager's eyes and ears, and he would carry out everything and make sure everyone was pulling their weight when we got on the pitch.
Did you ever have any scraps with Roy?
One or two. Should we move on?
All right, next to Roy.
I want to know more.
Alongside him, I've got to put these two in here because once you see the front line, we need a bit of protection.
And they get on well as well. So
Exactly, yeah. You need players like this in your team. In the English Premier League, I think this is why Arsenal are struggling at the moment, and maybe even Manchester United struggling a little bit at the moment, because this is the type of player you need to speed things up, slow things down, give someone a dig in the opposition, you know, dig them out, whoever's controlling the game, so it slows them down a bit. Might be a bit harsh to the people listening, but it's what's needed in the English Premier League, and nothing's changed.
How many red cards would these two get as a pair between them now in the modern game?
I'm not sure they would have to get the red cards. A little growl at people was, you know, certainly make people jump out of their skin. And
who was harder?
I'm going to say Keeney for me. Merce might have a little difference of
I
opinion.
I didn't think Patrick was that kind of player. He was a bit different.
He was. I think it took him a little while to understand the British game, the English game is. Keeney, growing up in Britain, knows how it was, and you know, was a mainstay of the teams that he played in and knew all about it. I think Patrick changed his game to suit the English Premier League, and what a player when he did.
Right, let's start on three.
I'm going to put all these in all together, okay? Just so that you know what we're dealing with. Zola, Bergkamp, all very similar. And Zidane.
You don't really need centre forward, do you?
all these players,
that team.
all these players want to play in the middle, off the front man. But all these players can adapt because so graceful. Zidane, 6'3". We played against him for Man United against Juventus when my first Champions League game. We beat them that night, but he was phenomenal. 6'3", graceful, just moved so poetically with the ball at his feet. Bergkamp, class act, harder than people give him credit for as well, was a nasty player. Would be perfect in and around these two for anyone else that wanted to mix it. Scored fantastic goals.
In your career, if you had to pick a player who you were similar to or they were similar to you, would you say it would be Bergkamp?
Yeah, I suppose so. I think we were talking earlier, you know, you play the centre forward and I don't know where he would fit in now in a 4-3-3 because Zola as well played the role off of a centre forward, how you wanted to play it. You was all told that was where he was playing. He played it differently, I played it differently, he played it differently. Zidane would play it differently to us three. But just the way Zola manipulated the ball, scored free kicks, legend at the bridge. You know, you've got to take your hat off to these players. And, you know, if you're playing with two centre midfielders, it's just like, right, we'll win it, we'll give you the ball, go and play, go and enjoy yourself and go and make some goals for this centre forward.
We've had people on before who said, you know, and brilliant players who've won a lot, who just said, for Zidane, it was a different game. You know, football was a different game for him, he was that good.
Yeah, I suppose so. I think you notice that when you play with players more so. I only played against these players in this position and just watched them from afar and thought, wow, top players in their respective teams.
And which of those would be the least favourable? If you've got your defenders in the team, who would they least like to play against? They're coming on at half-time and just going, oh, I'm having a shocker.
All very similar, aren't they? You know, probably Zidane, he's won World Cups and European Championships. These two have done it at the top in Premier League football. Not a lot to choose for all the three of them.
So who are they providing?
There was only one man for me to pick up the top, Ronaldo, the Ronaldo, Fat Ronaldo as they call him now.
Nothing wrong with that.
Porky. He was just. If you talk about players on a different planet, he came to Old Trafford one time for Real Madrid and scored a hat-trick. Just different class. Came alive, played for Barcelona and Real Madrid. Came alive when it was in around this area. Could score goals from the halfway line, running, beating 4 or 5 players. Scored tap-ins, scored unlimited amount of goals. Could score goals from every angle. Just ridiculous.
If there was a centre forward you could have played up front with, is he the guy?
Yeah, of course. You know, you'd have to turn and look for that little opening that he would make, and he'd make little sharp runs. And I'm sure all these three, which is why I've played this kind of system, they would all have, get the ball in the half turn and look for Ronaldo's runs and be able to slip him in. And,
who's your skipper?
got to go for the governor, haven't we? Keeney, really. I did put Ollie Solskjaer in as a sub for this team, just because if he wasn't doing it for 80 minutes, you could say to Ollie, go on there and make a couple of runs and these boys will find you. And it'll only take him 10 minutes to score the winner.
Teddy Sheringham's 1-11, everybody. Thank you, Ted.